Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, points, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times.
Tell us your name and what you do.
Hi, I'm Bria Rose, and I am a dark romance author.
Hey, when you say dark romance, I know what romance is.
Yeah.
Or what's dark? I know what dark is, but mixed together, I'm trying to think that I know it, but I'm not exactly sure if I know what that is.
So I specifically write dark, like romantasy. So we have like fantasy, right? So we have, witches and magic systems and dragons sometimes. So we have all these like things that quote unquote like aren't. I mean, we can have like real people in it, right? But there is some kind of fantasy element. Now, that's not really dark romance. What makes it dark is just the darker themes of stories. So you have like young adult, like Harry Potter, things that there are dark things in there, but what kind of sets me apart is my
Can
books.
can can we not use the word dark?
Use the word what? Dark?
Can we not use the word dark? Like, I feel like you're trying to explain dark to me and you're using dark. You're assuming that I know what dark means. I
Oh,
don't.
no, I was just. Oh, so you don't want me to explain the dark part or?
No, what I'm saying is that when you were explaining dark, right? You were
Yeah.
using the word dark to explain. It's like you're defining dark and you're using the word dark to define dark. Does it make sense? Like,
Oh,
use
okay.
something else to explain it. Don't repeat the word. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just don't know how else. I was just trying to explain. It's just. So can I start over then?
Oh, no,
Or
no,
because I
no.
don't.
We're good. Like you explain it, right? It's just like if you ask somebody to define school and you keep to use the word school, like oh, a school is yeah, right? You
Yeah.
get yeah. So that's what I was saying, right? You're doing well, but you're doing great. But I just wanted you to use something else to define that for us.
Sure. Sure. So basically, my books have a lot of trigger warnings. There are themes that are more adult. There is definitely a lot of spice. So that is definitely where, dark romantasy comes from.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm super excited to have a conversation with you. I know I've told you this before. Okay, what is your favorite quote?
Well, my favorite quote would have to be if someone has to do it, why not me? And I really do live by that.
If someone has to do it, why not me? If someone has to do it, why not me? Can you remember the exact moment or time or event that's where you first heard of this quote or came to the realization of this quote?
I actually think I came up with it. A few years
Okay.
ago, I needed some money because COVID had just kind of stopped not being a thing, but it kind of calmed
Yeah.
down after a year. Summer hit and I just my job, I wasn't like laid off from my job, but summer started, so I didn't have my job anymore till the next year. Uh, so I'm like, "What am I good at?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm actually really good at swimming. Why don't I try to teach people how to swim for some extra cash?"
Okay.
And I told my mom, I'm like, "Hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about charging. What do you think?" And she's like, "I don't know, Bree. Like, are you sure? Like, that kind of seems like a lot." I'm like, "Well, it is what it is." And then in my mind, I'm like, "Well, someone has to do it. Like, why?" I know that doesn't really make sense, but I'm like, "Well, someone's gonna pay. Someone's going to do it." So that's kind of where it came from. Then it kind of evolved from there. Of like, with my writing, I kind of evolved that like, well, someone's going to pay it. And they did, and then I've just kind of turned this kind of like side gig into, a side hustle. But with my writing, with anything, I just always tell people, I'm like, well, someone's got to do it. Why not me? Why can't I be the person who gets a book on the New York Times bestseller list? Why can't my book be made into a movie? Why can't, and it applies to literally everything in your life, you know, uh, lottery, why can't I be the winner? Because someone has to be the winner.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's making sense little by little. Okay. Other than this, the example you shared of you teaching people how to swim and getting paid for it, is there another time where leaning into this quote helped you overcome a challenge or kind of solve a problem?
Yeah, I think I'm always gonna kinda go back to my writing because that is just the forefront
Yeah.
of everything that I'm doing right now. I think that quote has really seen me through. There's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of I'm writing 2 books at the same time. I'm trying to get on as many podcasts as I can. I just got on my local news, in about a month and a
Wow,
half.
congrats.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm also in the process of doing my audiobooks, you know what I mean? So there's just a lot of things going on, and I sometimes feel a little bit of burnout, not having motivation to do something, like a little bit of writer's block is coming in, and like this inferiority complex of like, I'm not good enough. No one's going to want to read my writing. No one's going to want to hear me. Do I even have the inspiration or the drive to do a whole other book? Like, do I have it in me still? Is it still there? And then I have the quote like next to my computer, and I look at it, I'm like, if someone has to do it, why not me? And it helps me to calm my mind down and just take things one task, not even one day, but literally one tiny task at a time, because that's what I did with my first book. That's what I did. So I've done it for the last 31 years, just when I get overwhelmed, I have to do things one step at a time, one tiny little task. If I have to clean up my room, I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, but let's just start with this pile. Let's start with this pile. So that quote really is the thing that motivates me and the thing that just keeps me grounded.
Yeah, before we go further, I'd love for us to do one thing. More like I'd love for you to do one thing. And that is, what do people often get wrong about these quotes and how do you clarify it?
Gets wrong about the quotes.
Yeah.
I feel like when I say it, sometimes it might come off a little pretentious, maybe.
Okay.
Just because it's like, well, that's a little too confident. I'm like, well, I am confident. I am confident in my writing. I am confident that I am going to be able to succeed. I am confident about that. And I think confidence is sexy, and there's nothing wrong with a confident woman. And I feel like sometimes that can be a little intimidating.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah. You, if someone has to do it, why not me?
Yep.
Right? And for me, the part I just want to nudge a bit that I could think it could be subject to misinterpretation. Of course, it's a very nice quote. Well, I feel that people could also take this quote and use it in context and examples that are quote unquote not what's the word? Not what they're supposed to be doing. I'll give an example. I don't know if you can imagine where I'm going with this question. Conversations we're having in this context, we're talking about chasing your purpose, following your dreams, and the things you want to do. Now, in life, people have desires, and how do I say that? They have negative desires. Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, oh, I'm going to rob a bank, and in that
Okay.
context, you're like, well, if someone has to do it, why not? Why not me? and
Well,
and I feel like you should clarify and tell them that this quote is meant for chasing and all that. And please, that would really go a long way, so that people are like, yeah, why I say that if someone has to do it, why not me? I should do it. Yeah.
you know, uh, definitely use this quote for the good of all and harm to none, as spiritual people like to say, like, so mote it be, after the end of, whatever intention you're setting, you always say, for the good of all, harm to none, because you always only want to put the just positive energy out into the world. The more positive you put back, I feel like you put out, the more you're gonna get back. Maybe that's their goal, maybe they want to be a famous bank robber, but I don't recommend it. Do your thing, but definitely, like I said, use use a quote. Use a quote wisely.
What do you mean you don't recommend it? And then you go on to say, do your thing.
Well, I mean, I don't. You can't come back if you do rob banks
I
and you're
don't.
like, "No, Maria told me to." I'm like, "No, no, I did not."
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Okay. Other than from the obvious upside you mentioned, what's an unexpected way that you say this quote has really helped you?
Other ways. Besides being inspirational and besides kind of just spurring me on, I mean, I use it in my daily life. I kind of want to maybe lean back into more it grounds me. I don't want to get too big of a head. Do I think I'm going to be the next J.K. Rowling? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what's
Who
actually going to
knows?
happen?
I guess we'll have to find that.
One day, hopefully sooner
Yeah.
than later, I'll get some viral videos
Yeah.
and
And so when I just send you a message like, I remember one day I'd love to be for you to be on my podcast, you not tell me, oh no, well, we do with the big guys now. No, no. I know you won't say that. Yeah, like yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I'd love to do a chapter two. That would be amazing. Yeah,
it
it will
would.
be. And since you're working on this project, you're working on, you're doing the audiobook and all that. I'd love to. I don't know how we'd make it work, but I know we'd be able to make it work. Where when the audiobooks comes out and all that, I'd love to interview you and then have a different conversation about the writing process and all that itself. And yeah,
I would really
when
love that.
it's when
That'd be a
it's
lot of
when it's when it's ready, do let me know and we'll fix the time.
Yeah, I'm actually currently listening to chapter 2 of it, so that
Okay,
is fun. It's kinda
okay.
crazy.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Uh, yeah, your voice sounds really, what's the word? Clear, right? But
Oh,
I feel like when you're narrating a book, there's a way it will sound, and I'm curious to know what is going
we're back.
on. And there was
We're
light,
back.
let there be light, and there was light. I'm curious to see to listen to what it will sound like, and I'd love to know when the audiobook comes out, and I could just listen to it and say, yeah, yeah. And then maybe one of these I'll post on Twitter and say, yeah, the combination of what's the name of your book now?
Her Dark
What's the name of
Promise.
the book you? Okay, Had Dark Promise. The combination of Had Dark Promise in an evening is just fire. I know. I guess we'll have to find that.
Well, it's
Ah,
actually not my voice. So, unfortunately, it's going to be somebody it's guy I hired 2 really, amazing audiobook narrators, Jacob Morgan and Grace Noble, so I'm currently listening to her voice.
yeah. After all this hype I've done and everything,
You're supposed to
ah,
be pro.
it's not that those the names you mentioned, it's not that they're not good at what they do, but I just feel this connection whenever I know that the audiobook I'm listening to is narrated by the author. It's just different. Like it doesn't really matter. I don't really care about the what's the word the how really good it sounds. As far as I just know that who wrote this book is the one narrating it, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it feels different. I feel like the author is talking to me directly, which they are, because it's them. But I get it. I get it. Like, we have to give it to the professionals to do it.
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't even if I did do it, producing it, it just is out of my I'm just gonna stick to writing. I think that's where my talents are.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you mentioned that it's this code is what you use daily, and is there a particular routine or you do use or do for reminding you? Because I feel like most of us, we already know what to do. We already know what we should be doing, but what we need is a reminder. We need to be reminded more than we need to like be. What do you do to remind yourself that every time and every now and then, if someone has to do it, why?
Well, I do have it posted next to my computer. I have it written on my mirror. Um,
Wow.
and so sometimes I need those visual reminders. And then sometimes when things are getting too much, because I do try to be in tune with my body, uh, knowing when I am getting burnout, which I have different factors of like, I get really tired or all I want to watch is TV. I'm not really motivated, because I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, I have to do this and this and this. And I'm in my mind, I go through like down the list of all the things I have to do. I get overwhelmed and then I'll sit and I'll, do all the spiritual things of just like maybe going to stand outside with my bare feet on the grass, just things to help bring me down. And then I just tell myself, like, one of these days, all of my hard work, my struggle, my saving all my money, like kind of not going without, but not spending $100 on food like there's just certain luxuries right now that I'm not giving myself because all of my money is allocated to my audiobook because I am putting all of my faith into this crazy, amazing project. And so I just remind myself that all of this is worth it because, if someone has to do it, why not me? Like, why kind of going back into grounding, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it. And that quote just reminds me of all that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing this quote with us and just helping me make sense of
Are you going to use it in your day to day life?
it. That's the if I remember this. The thing is, the thing is that at the very moment, the very instant you need it, would you remember? Right? Because this quote is the kind of quote like, of course, we can always remind ourselves and all that, but there are times when you're like, oh, I need to apply for that job, or I need to send in that application for that grant, I need to apply to be a member of that fellowship and things. And at that point in time, that's when you need the quote. But sometimes with the whole the craziness happening, you can't.
No.
And I'd follow some of those things you mentioned on how you keep visual prompts and cues to help remind yourself over and over again. If someone has to do it, why?
You can accomplish anything. Anything that you set your mind
Yeah,
to. And you know what? Sometimes it's not going to happen, but what I do know for a fact, going kind of with this quote, is I'm not going to live my life with regrets. I have some regrets in my life, but I have found a purpose, which is writing, which is sharing, this talent I feel like I truly have. And will I make it? Hopefully. Again, if someone has to do it, why not me? And it's not like a guarantee. This quote isn't to say, but it is wishful thinking. It is positive mindset. It is, manifesting, putting that out into the universe that is going to happen. Now, because I say this quote all the time and it visualize, the things that I want, and I'm reaching far. I'm hoping for a movie one day, in the near future.
yeah,
Like I was telling you earlier, I have gotten already a special edition. I'm going to be on my local news in about a month and a half.
yeah.
There's a lot of things going on. I'm not even a published writer or author an entire year, and I already have so
Wait,
much.
wait, 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 wait. You're not like your book is not yet published.
No. I said that right. I said that wrong. I published my first book, my only book currently, on Halloween of last year of 2024. So I'm
Okay.
not even a full year as like a published.
Oh, I've been published.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm very
that's
new, and I already have
that's
many
fantastic. Like
things.
with such beginnings,
Yeah,
one can only imagine what will happen 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years if you keep
exactly.
going at the pace you with which.
Hustle. You gotta hustle. I'm emailing people every day, reaching out. I'm using contacts. I'm finding people on Instagram. There's lots of no's, but I've gotten really lucky with my opportunities and I'm very thankful. And you're right. But with my start, maybe I might not be a viral sensation overnight, but I feel like with all my opportunities, it's just right around the corner. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, baby steps, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really excited for that. Look, is it local news feature? I don't know what the word. Yeah. So when you're walking in the street, people say, "Yeah, she's that lady,
Yep.
that author lady," and and you just smile.
That's
Wow,
me.
it's really a big step towards the goal and the dream and Thank you so much, Bria. It's been an absolute delight chatting with you. Where can my listeners learn more about the books and just keep an eye on the projects and the things you're going to release in the
Sure. So, my book is called Her Dark Promise by Bria Rose. You can find it on Barnes & Noble and Walmart.com. I know that's crazy. I just found that out recently. I do have some projects. My biggest one right now that I am pushing is the audiobook. I do have some fun pre-order incentives. So if you do pre-order my book on my website at authorbriarose.com. That is BRIA rose.com. Hopefully that will be out early August. And then I am going to be incentivizing people with a giveaway and signed copies of books and a lot of fun stuff. So definitely follow along on my socials. Everything is pretty much under author Bria Rose. So definitely just, hang out and follow the rest of my projects.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been such a cozy conversation.
It really has. I had a really nice time.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatable.wisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.